Garage. The Sunbeam Rapier owner who splashed the cash on buying the car,
£1,500 on eBay, you know.
but maybe shouldn't have bothered.
Who owned it before? Stevie Wonder.
The new recruits start to get their hands dirty under the watchful eye of their new boss. A Golf with an air conditioning problem.
I'm not going to let it get to me. I want to think of nice thoughts, bunny rabbits, flowers.
We're back with the engineless V6 Liberty Jeep.
This could have well been avoided by 20 quid worth of bottle of oil.
And the mystery celeb comes in off the street.
What's the car coming in for?
English Mobile Mechanics owner Jock has now opened his new garage. He's been fixing cars in Spain for 18 years and has a great reputation. He already employs 2 mechanics, but for the expansion he's recruited staff from all over the UK, and they've been dropped straight in at the deep end, having to get used to both a new job and new challenges. Sandy made an early impression on his new boss.
He'll never get any bad words from me over his work.
And then nearly wrecked it after a drunken night out.
I've got a business to run. It's only your second day here, but really, Sandy, I really didn't want it to happen again.
While Wayne was left to soak up the local culture as he waited for his work permit.
I like my McDonald's. I had it the other day, well, twice the other day, and it's just not the same. Not at all.
Steph had to leave his beloved Barnet FC behind.
Mr. Football. Giuliano Grazioli is our striker, number 9. Legend, absolute legend.
But has found a new passion.
Friday night, went up to the Premier lap dancing bar again.
While receptionist Claire is still getting used to a new role.
I feel quite isolated. I'm in this office on my own, and everyone's quite busy downstairs and I feel a bit useless.
Finally, trainee mechanic Danielle has worked on the uniform, but is her heart really in the job?
Look, I've been working in the garage. Look at the difference. They're clean and they're still long.
A new day sees a BMW 320 come in that's been misfiring. It's owned by Jock's good friend and local bar owner, Caesar. Steph used to work for a BMW dealership in the UK and is now the garage's resident Beamer expert. So he's got a good opportunity to impress his new boss.
Just pulled the car in. It's running really rough. It's got quite a few misfires on it.
A misfire occurs when the fuel mixture in a cylinder is not being burned correctly. This will affect the car's performance and could be caused by several different problems. So Steph has a good look around the engine.
It's kind of like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Before conceding defeat and connecting a scanner to the car's onboard computer.
Basically, this is just reeling out all the different values from all the different sensors on the engine. Just really looking for any anomalies.
Modern cars can have hundreds of sensors and electric circuits measuring anything from fuel mixture to water levels.
This is all new for me. This is completely different to the system that we use within the dealer network, so teaching myself as well as trying to find the fault on the car. 0182 sensor control, oxygen sensor. Cool.
Emission problems can take a car off the road altogether. And as the motor belongs to a mate of Jock's, Stefan daren't put a foot wrong. Which should be an inspiration for trainee Danielle to do the same.
Well, thanks very much, sweetheart. Did you get sugar?
No. Has anybody got sugar?
She won the traineeship because of her enthusiasm for cars. But so far, all Jock can see is an enthusiasm for fun.
She's a bit young and beautiful. Well, she is. The trouble is, she's not getting away with it in here. I'd just rather not have her.
Luckily for Danielle, at the moment, Jock has other problems to deal with. Last week, the garage went to work on this 2003 V6 Liberty Jeep that had a nasty knocking sound coming from the engine. So they ripped it out and discovered that the owner hadn't put any oil in the car for 2 years.
I think it's actually cooked it.
It's an oversight that could have resulted in the Jeep needing a whole new engine. Jock had a hunch the knocking sound was related to the connecting rod wobbling on the crankshaft. He was right. The shells that protect the connecting rod were damaged because of a lack of lubrication. They ordered in replacements, but there was a problem. At the end of each original shell, there was a tiny indentation or break that acted as a locator, but the new shells didn't have this. Without the locator, the shells would simply spin on the connecting rod and offer little protection. So with the Jeep's engine lying in pieces, they've been waiting for Chrysler to confirm the correct shells were delivered, and today they have an answer.
They've said that they are the right shells for that vehicle. As far as like putting brakes on them is concerned, you're going to have to use your knowledge and technology to put brakes on them before you put them in, you know. So I'm trying to devise a way where I can put the shells in and put brakes on them without damaging the shells.
The garage isn't a main dealer and doesn't have the specialist tool to make the indentation in the shell, so they'll have to improvise by using a split pin.
Right, hold it on there.
Just come off a bit then. It's fine, it's fine. Yeah. Perfect.
With the shells now modified, they can be fitted into place.
Right, turn the crank on,
Yeah.
please.
With each half shell fitted, the crank and connecting rod is rotated 180 degrees to allow the second half to be fixed. And the modified shells seem to be going in easily enough, until he reaches the final set.
We're going to have to wet and dry a little bit of the crankshaft off now because it's got a tiny little bit of the shell actually ground into it. So we're going to have to smooth that off before that gans back on.
The final shell is located furthest away from the oil pump. When the oil levels started to drop, it was receiving the least amount of lubrication. As the engine heated up when running, the shell began to melt.
That's the worst one. That's the worst one we've got out yet. Can you stay there? It's actually heated them up that much. The metal's come to the side and melted them.
The melted metal on the crank now has to be rubbed down to ensure that it doesn't rip apart the replacement shell.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this could have well been avoided by like a 10, 12, 13, 20 quid worth of bottle of oil.
Coming up in part 2, Wayne sparks into action on a hot Golf,
And electrics, I love electrics.
only to be chilled by the whole experience.
Don't know what else you can do, really.
And it all goes wrong for Danielle
I'll go and get a 16-year-old. They'll do your job.
after the break. Coming up on the garage, Danielle gets the hairdryer treatment.
If I find a slacker in here, I'm going to boot them up the buzz.
Wayne gets intimate with a VW Golf.
Come on, sweetheart, be good to me.
And Jock gets to cast his eye over a classic.
Piece of
English Mobile Mechanics is a garage on the Costa del Sol. Its owner Jock is expanding the business, and his new team are out to prove themselves to their new boss. Earlier, a rough-sounding BMW was brought into the garage. Steph hooked up a scanner to the car's onboard computer. Now he needs to go back to the books and cross-reference the results with a little light reading.
Fault locations and probable causes. We had a fault 201. So we go through Audi, BMW, engine management. It's telling us here 201 heated oxygen sensor H02S range performance problem. So basically what's that saying is that the oxygen sensor that's located in the exhaust is faulty, so we're going to need a new oxygen sensor.
The oxygen sensor is also known as a lambda sensor and is mounted in the exhaust. It's designed to monitor the levels of oxygen in the pipe so an onboard computer can regulate the air-fuel mixture. This helps both reduce emissions and improve the engine performance, allowing it to work efficiently. It'll have to be replaced, so Steph can now give Jock the prognosis on his first Beamer.
I'll let that one cool down, start it up from cold, and it run perfect from cold.
Which one?
The C36 here, the rough run up. It run perfect from cold.
That's flooding it in there.
Well, I'm thinking that oxygen sensor, because they don't cut in until the engine's warm, do they?
Want to go for it? Take it off then.
Take it off.
Take it off and I'll get one for tomorrow.
Cool.
Make the decision. Make the decision.
And Jock isn't shy about making decisions. 24-year-old garage trainee Danielle has hacked off her new boss. She's been working more on a suntan than the cars, and when he spots her taking yet another unofficial cigarette break, he decides enough is enough.
I'll go and get a 16-year-old. They'll do your job. You're not on it. You're not on it. I've not seen you doing anything in here productive. Nothing at all. As far as I'm concerned. Sitting at my door, smoking fags, writing down notes and not watching cars. That's nothing to do with me. They're all going to get it. If I find a slacker in here, I'm going to boot them up the balls. Get on it. Get round every single mechanic if you want to be working in here. Every single one of them. That's it. That's it. That's it. Done. You've been told.
Why should I have to put up with that? I haven't done anything wrong. Just try to do my job. I don't want to hop between loads of different mechanics. I'm never going to learn anything properly. I want to be with one person.
With her job on the line, Danielle needs to knuckle down. The afternoon revs up with another car that's been sitting around the garage. This 2002 VW Golf's air conditioning has stopped delivering cold air. That may not be such a problem in the UK, but in the Spanish sun it can be sheer murder. 5 mechanics in the garage have already had a go at fixing it, and a new control module has been fitted to no avail. It's an electrical fault that's now Wayne's problem.
This is like the best thing. And electrics, I love electrics, you know what I mean? So.
But he's not alone with his enthusiasm. After trainee Danielle's rollicking, she's keen to prove her worth.
Would you like to lie on the floor?
Go on then. Have you got another thingy?
One comes on with the aircon.
Yeah, the one on the right.
Yeah, and the other one comes on with cooling. And if it gets too hot, they both come on together. Right?
Yeah.
Golfs that have air conditioning have 2 fans in the engine bay. One cools the radiator when it gets to 90 degrees, and the other cools the air conditioning system. Both fans take their power from the car's electrical system. A fuse protects this, preventing a short circuit that could cause a fire. Following the fuse, there's a sealed control module that directs power to switch on the fan. On Wayne's Golf, the air conditioning fan isn't working.
It's got to be that fan, because you can power that one, but you can't power that one. It strips it straight out. So it's got to be that fan.
And it seems obvious. The air conditioning fan must be faulty. But that means buying in a second new part. If he's wrong, it could be an expensive mistake. So we'll have to hope his diagnosis is spot on. As Jock was with the Liberty Jeep. His theory that the vehicle's nasty knocking sound was caused by non-lubricated shells was correct. Which is lucky, because so far the job has taken over a week. They've replaced each half shell, and now they need to tighten the nuts on the connecting rod cap to hold everything in place. In a finely tuned engine, every nut and bolt needs to be fastened to the correct tightness, or torque, in order to do its job properly. To ensure this, they'll need to use a torque wrench.
It's got a scale on it, pounds and feet, yeah? And if it says torque, tighten up the bolts, 40 pounds. You would adjust this up to 40 pounds on the scale, yeah? Lock it, tighten it to 40 pounds. That's you.
Screws that are too tight may break. Screws that are too loose could fall out. All you have to do is set the torque wrench to a specified level, and you'll hear a click when the preset torque is reached.
All right, 20. Yeah.
With the shells fitted in place, Sandy can now impress Jock by putting the engine back together. He's committed the whole process to memory when dismantling the engine. Now a week later, he has to piece together hundreds of nuts, bolts and heavy parts in the correct order. One simple mistake would spell disaster. It's a 2003 built Jeep and was designed with mechanics in mind. When they lifted the engine out, Sandy discovered it had locators designed to help when putting the engine back in. These locators should mean that this engine simply slots into place, rather than having to be carefully balanced and then bolted. Time to find out if they work.
That wants to come up.
Wants to come up, doesn't it? Right, hold it there.
Well, that's it.
Right, that's it in this size. And your side?
That was good to me, that. That's what all like that.
With the engine in place, the team can rebuild the Jeep, including lifting the 60-kilogram gearbox back into the chassis. With the Jeep back together and no pieces left over, time to see if it fires up. A week ago, it had a nasty knocking sound. So the purring engine signals a successful refit. It's just left to make sure the fresh oil is circulating properly.
That's reading that right, that?
It's halfway up.
Alright. I'll just leave it there for now and I'll drive around the block and have a look again.
Sandy gives it a quick spin so we can listen to the engine.
The man who owns it's been really lucky at the end of the day. If they'd run it for another couple of 100 mile, it would have been disastrous basically, new crank. Probably been cheaper to put a new engine in, to be honest with you.
And a new engine would have cost the owner over $5 grand.
Sandy's had it out, he's well happy with it, and if he's happy, I'm happy.
English Mobile Mechanics' reputation as a quality garage means they get all types of cars booked in. This 1969 fastback Sunbeam Rapier is in a bad way and will need some serious attention. Built by the Roots Group in Coventry, the Sunbeam was in production between 1955 and 1976. It should have a top speed of 103 miles an hour. But this one has been refitted with a 3-litre Ford V6 engine, meaning it's fast when it works.
Tell me what the story is with.
The core plug's popped out, a gasket's gone, the braking system on it's not very good. It's blowing air into the cylinders. The axles are Capri 2.8, and there's no handbrake. So if you can have a look at that for me, that'd be great.
So we'll look at it today and we'll see what's going on, son.
Cheers, mate.
Okay?
Bye.
See ya.
We know where we go now.
Piece of
They say that this garage can mend it, so here we are. There you go.
But sometimes a so-called bargain can set you back thousands.
I bought it on eBay.
Did you?
Yeah,
How's it
£1,500
paid
on eBay, you know.
It's alright,
What's
isn't
it go like?
Yeah, wicked.
Huh?
Yeah, I'll get it off. Yeah, cracking.
£1,500. Who owned it before? Stevie Wonder of it.
Back at the VW Golf that's already seen off 5 mechanics, Wayne thinks he knows the problem. He believes the second fan that is responsible for cooling the air coolant could be shorting the system. The garage has already replaced the module that powers the fans because the original part was faulty. The fan responsible for air conditioning takes its power feed from the module. But Wayne believes replacing the fan could sort the problem. With his reputation on the line, he puts his expensive solution to the test.
It'd be fun if it doesn't work.
Oh dear. It might look fine, but within seconds the fan trips out and begins slowing as it no longer receives power.
Still tripping out.
It's tripping out, mate. So it's not a problem, son.
Don't know what else it can do, really.
Just trying to get to the bottom of this, because, you know, Wayne's well into this type of car. I'm into it. I'm not going to be beating on it. I mean, it's only a car. I'm only thinking about the actual customer. I mean, he's not getting charged any money, any extra money for like anything that we have done. We need to find the problem, and the module was definitely a problem because it's burnt out. Put a new module in, and we're taking it for granted that module's good. And we're not actually sure if that module's now gone or not, are we?
Jock points out that maybe the new module that the garage fitted was faulty. This isn't a common experience with Golf parts, but it's the only logical explanation. Wayne's initial enthusiasm for electrics has vanished.
It's always hard, do you know what I mean, trying to prove yourself to someone. But when you've got a job like this, it's hard to prove it, you know what I mean? I thought it was a fan motor, and obviously, you know, it ain't.
While the mechanics work to fix the motors, in the office it's Claire's job to make sure there's always room for more business. But she's got a mended white Fiat Punto taking up space.
I didn't realise that Spanish mobiles had to have 9 numbers, and unfortunately the number I have only has 8. So I'm not sure if I took the number down wrong or the gentleman gave it wrong to me, but at the moment he's not called in, and it's been about a week and a half yet. You think he'd actually want to know where his car is?
She's even holding off telling Jock about her mistake.
So I don't actually know what I'm going to do. I was going to talk to Jock about it later on. Or I think I'm just going to make up random numbers and start asking for people called Jimmy. The one that I've actually taken the wrong number on. He hasn't rang. The only sodding one. I'll find it by the end of today. I will have spoken to Jimmy.
With the working day nearly over, it looks like the Punto could be staying another night. The BMW that's been running rough has had its problem identified as a faulty oxygen sensor. The sensor monitors exhaust emissions. All Steph has to do is replace it. The oxygen sensor constantly monitors and tests the car emissions. A chemical reaction within the sensor between the fuel-air mixture and zirconium dioxide generates a voltage. This is sent to the engine's computer that determines whether the mixture is rich or lean and adjusts the amount of fuel entering the engine accordingly. When the oxygen sensor fails, the car will perform poorly and use more fuel than it needs to. But with the sensor not budging, Steph's gonna need more muscle.
Sandy, you're strong. Come in.
Put any grease on it yet?
Grease will not get that out.
No.
And
Not even ease it up?
no. The heat's got it seized in. The nut, what the bolt actually goes into, what the Lamborghini's into, you need to heat that up so it expands, so it loosens the threads off.
Sandy uses a blowtorch to heat the nut and make it expand, allowing the oxygen sensor to come free. They can now fit the new part when it arrives tomorrow. Early morning, and Wayne is back on the VW Golf, replacing the new module that feeds the fans their power. He's hoping that they unwittingly fitted a faulty part, and that this will sort it. But first he has to wait nearly 20 minutes for the engine to heat up, before the fans kick in.
Cars take a long time to warm up. Come on, sweetheart, be good to me. Well, basically, it works now.
Because you've done what?
Basically, change the module.
After 2 days in the garage, the Golf can now be returned to its owner.
Glad this one's over.
When it comes to electrics, things are never simple, but Wayne's run out victorious.
Well, that's all done. Ready to go out, so there you go. Hopefully. It won't come back, hopefully. So.
And with one victory in the bag, Wayne goes looking for another. Wayne's most proud possession is his toolbox. Now he's actually put some of his tools to use, he's ready to start showing them off.
You got a big box though, haven't you?
That is a big box, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bigger than your box.
It's not the size of the ones, it's the magic in it, you know what I mean?
Come on, man.
What?
Boy, well, what is it?
To see where dye's coming from.
Right, yeah, can't. You got to have it.
I've got these they're great.
Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, that looks so stupid. It's like me wearing my glasses, so it doesn't look stupid underneath, does it?
I beg to differ. It's tall porn. Yeah, got one, mate.
No.
Yeah? But you ain't got the daddy one, have you?
No, but I've got two.
Yeah. But I've got... Look, so. Au contraire, Rodney, au contraire.
Love it. It's like the battle of the toolboxes.
Job. Numero uno. Eh? Numero two.
You have a look at my other box.
Yeah, but you're 50, man. I'm 26, you know what I mean? I'm better looking as well.
Yeah, you've got teeth.
Coming up in part 3, Wayne gets seduced by an old wreck,
It's had a few things living under it, but it's a beaut.
while Steph gets to grips with the locals.
Oh, yes, we are, son. I see the lady.
And the garage gets a celebrity booking. Coming up on the garage, Wayne comes to the rescue of a classic.
Oh, the skateboard, got it!
Steph samples the nightlife, and a celebrity reveals their new life. The new recruits of English mobile mechanics are working hard, but still finding their feet. With 6 full-time mechanics now working at the garage, owner Jock knows that there will be slow periods. He wants a restoration project to keep them busy in the downtime, so he's sent Wayne into the hills to check out a potential car.
I understand you've got a Ford Anglia.
Yeah, it's over here on this land. It's been here, unfortunately, for about 6 years.
Did you used to maintain it well?
When I bought it, it was in really good condition. It had 48,000 miles on the clock, really low mileage. It's 1961.
Owner Sandy has lived on the Costa for 10 years, and of course, she's an old friend of Jock's.
I took it to Jock's garage years ago. I've got a receipt there from 1996 when he'd done work on it. So he knows the car, but last time he saw it, it was in much better condition than it's in now. He would be completely disgusted with me, I'm sure.
If they take that job, all Sandy will have to do is pay for parts, as the garage will throw in labour for free.
First impressions, Wayne?
It's a bit of a steak. It's had a hard life, hasn't it?
I know.
From George Harrison to Michael Parkinson, in its day the Ford Anglia was the car to have. Although nowadays the car is more famous for its role in Harry Potter movies.
It's a bit wedged at the moment, I suppose.
Back in the 60s, it was even winning car rallies around the globe.
It's a beaut.
Sandy drove the car from Yorkshire to the Costa, and she's hoping they can restore it on the cheap, transforming this vision of faded glory.
It's had a few things living under it, but...
I'd said goodbye to it a few years ago, really. I sort of felt I'd got my money's worth out of it. I've got some really good memories of driving around Wensleydale, and yeah, I've had some great fun out of it. So, what do you think?
Well, it's a lot of cosmetic until we actually pull it out. If it comes out, I can't see properly underneath it.
It is doable.
Oh yeah, everything's doable though. I can get it done. That's not a problem for me. You know, I'll always get there in the end.
Getting the job done might not be the problem. It's getting it out of the field. Back at the garage, Jock's got another car in need of some TLC in the form of a Sunbeam Rapier.
He's bought it on eBay. Why? It doesn't look like a good car. The police will have this car off him and it'll be gone because it doesn't even look respectable, the car. There's no handbrake and it's been clamped off at the back.
Sad. This is a good car in its day.
Jock's asked Sandy to assess the damage and it's not looking good. There are truckloads of problems, from a leaking cylinder head gasket to the complete lack of any car braking system. Every aspect of the engine is suspect and needs attention.
No. This is just like mad money in here now. There's just bodging in there,
It's just like,
and I've got to remove bodgy bits to put back on bodgy bits, and really, no, we're not doing this car.
In its day, the Rapier was a boy racer's dream, but this one isn't the bargain the owner thought it was. So Sandy is left to break the bad news.
Basically, when you get under the bonnet, there's that many like bodge jobs being done actually around the engine bay. I mean, basically, the engine that's in it once took out and rebuilt. Basically, you know, the point that I'm trying to say. I mean, we are a working garage. We do fix cars, but at the end of the day, the cars we fix, we like to go them out on the street, like so. There's nothing the matter with them. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, you know yourself. There's a lot of problems and faults with the car. You know, right? No problem. Right, Delano, bye. We get cars in here, good quality cars like Beamers, Mercs, and when they come in with a problem, we'll fix them, they go out road legal. If we were to put our hands on this car, yes, we would fix the cylinder head gaskets, but at the end of the day, the car's still not a legal car, do you know what I mean?
The Rapier won't be getting sorted at this garage. From one lost cause to another. But this Ford Anglia is going to need even more love and attention once Wayne has got it out of the field it's been sitting in for 6 years, which involves dismantling a wall.
Look at it. You see her now? And then, when you see her again, she'll be totally different. No, I knew it would come out, but
got much more faith than I have. I
have
really
to have
thought it was
faith in
going
these
to fall
things.
apart, to be frank. Oh, the skateboard, got it!
And taking half the field and a skateboard with it, the tow truck heads back to Marbella. Tonight is a big night out for the garage. They're planning to hit the town. But there might be a problem.
I've lost my wallet, by the way. And my driving licence, the lot.
Same as.
What do you mean?
I've lost my wallet
When?
last week.
You're joking. That was there last week, and a guy come in. That's clear. He says, if I left my wallet here, the guy with the thing, and I gave him the black wallet.
Oh, wind up.
I ain't.
You are. I can tell by the look on your face. That dirty little smirk on your face, isn't it?
You want your wallet back?
Have you got it?
Well, if you keep insisting on putting it on the top of my toolbox, that's where it'll be ever since you left it there. It's been there a week.
All right.
The beers are on Steph, and Claire might just need one. The white Fiat Punto is still sitting idle in the garage, and she's eventually come clean with Jock.
Jock, has he had any of the cars other than his Punto? Has he had any of his cars other than his Punto that I could look at?
Any other cars?
I've looked back 2004 as well. I've got 12 Jimmys so far that I've rang and left messages for. I will find it. I will. Please let this be Jimmy. If it's Jimmy, I'm going to fall over. Good afternoon, English Mechanics. You can book a car, no problem at all. When would you like to do that?
But Claire's out of
I
luck.
might see you on Friday. Thank you, bye-bye. See, 3. I wrote down the number. Look. Right, Jimmy. I thought that was Jimmy.
She did take the number down wrong. I don't find it funny at all. From where she's actually been and where she's come from. I'm not a happy bunny at all. If they don't get their act together, they'll be replaced. And I mean it, replaced. That's it.
Jimmy. Jimmy, please ring.
It's not the best way to end her day, and the situation could stretch on and on. With the working day over, the team hit the town for a drink. At night, Marbella buzzes. It's a 24-hour party place, and perfect for the team to unwind.
The garage, English Mobile Mechanics,
And vodka.
and vodka.
And typically the boys end up at their favourite haunt.
Going premiere tonight. Oh yes, we are, son. I see the lady.
They should be sending their wages home, but both Steph and Wayne are instead investing in the mechanics of Marbella's lap dancers. Friday morning, and the team is back in work.
Bit fragile this morning, to say the least. Feeling a bit fragile.
A little bit jaded, I think. A little bit tired.
Wish I didn't drink. Today's going to be a struggle, a big struggle.
24 hours ago, Wayne completed work on a 2002 V5 Golf. But today his nemesis has returned to ruin his fragile morning.
I thought I got rid of the car, but unfortunately it's back again, so...
There's another problem with the air conditioning. It's now powering on, then off.
I don't think anyone else wants to touch it now.
I don't know anymore. I'm not going to let it get to me. I want to think of nice thoughts. Bunny rabbits. Flowers, things like that.
Or lap dancing.
How many lap dances would you get with $1 million? How many?
About 110,000.
Roughly. Wait, I'm going back there tonight. Round 2! Ding ding! Well, the girlfriend's coming tonight, so...
what?
Well, what I think
Right,
of doing
shake
is...
my bird.
Wait till she's asleep. Sneak out and off we go again.
With Wayne's hangover improving, he gets down to business. In every car, the electrical system will have a number of fuses. If there is a power problem in the system, these fuses would prevent any serious damage to main components. But finding the problem can be tricky. Nowadays, a single car can have up to 1,200 wires connecting between various fuses and components.
All these fuses, they've got little jaws on the back of them where the wires go in. That one there, as I pulled it out, pins come out with it. So when I've pushed it back in, it's made a better contact. So that's the problem with the car. Thank you! There you go, done.
The air conditioning compressor fuse was removed before Wayne took the job on, but it hadn't been replaced correctly.
I'm going to go and tell Big Man now. Where is he? Guess who fixed the car?
What was wrong with it?
Ah, if I told you, you'd know. If I told you, son, who's your daddy?
Yeah, the car's done. Fixed, done. Everything's done. Everything works. Everything absolutely in there. Good man.
He's stuck at it, and he's done it. Can't say any more than that, and that's exactly what I expected of Wayne. He's got his own little attitude. Sometimes it's a bit, but he's done it, and that's good.
When you get a job like that and it goes, and you find the actual fault and it works, you get so much satisfaction out of it. I think I'll go out for a pint tonight to celebrate.
The BMW 320 replacement oxygen sensor has been picked up by Jock. Yesterday they needed a blowtorch to remove the old oxygen sensor. Even though the sensor came out, its screw threads didn't. They're now clogging the threads that the replacement oxygen sensor needs to screw into, meaning a tricky cleaning job for Sandy.
Basically, when we took the old one out yesterday, took the threads with it. It took the threads off the lambda, which is softer than the actual exhaust. So I'm trying to clean the threads out before I put the new one in.
To help clean the threads more effectively, Sandy needs to use a tap. Each tap gradually cuts dirt out from the threads a little more, until eventually the threads are clean for a new part to be fitted. They normally come as a tap and die set. Taps are used to cut or clean threads in holes, and dies to cut threads on shafts. There are lots of different sizes, and a set will cost upwards of £30.
Normally you can drill a hole to a certain size, and then you can tap it out, so the thread will go in. On this case, basically, obviously the thread's damaged, so we need a tap to re-tap the threads. You get 3 taps. You've got one that you run through first, and then you've got a second one and a third one. And each of them clean the threads up to a different extent. I can just get it in a little bit just to start them 2 threads. It'll clean the top threads up. That's actually got stuff in them.
With the threads clear, Sandy now fits the new oxygen sensor.
That's in secure. Start up, make sure it's running okay.
How is it? Sweet. Well, that's good. What a good result that is.
Mission accomplished. Job done. Big smile. It's the first time I've smiled all day, so...
Now the Beamer runs clean, Claire gets the chance to prove she can do her job.
Oh, hello, can I speak to Caesar, please? Just so you know, your BMW's all ready.
And her day is looking up. The owner of the white Punto happened to be passing and popped in. What was becoming a headache would seem sorted.
The gentleman's just come to collect his car. He's not sure whether he gave me it wrong or whether I took it down wrong. I just needed a 0 on the end. But he's come to collect it, it's got to go somewhere else, so quite a lot more. He's just passing, but 2.5 weeks later. So, but yeah, he's going to have to go somewhere else. Jock's having a word with him now, so...
Yesterday, Wayne was sent out to find a restoration project for the garage. Today, it's arrived. Brand new, this Ford Anglia would have cost just over £600. It's going to cost at least this in parts to restore it.
It's got his work cut out. It's definitely got his work cut out. Wayne, there's just bits hanging off everywhere, mate. Oh, hang on. I reckon I could get this running and drive it within 4 weeks. 4 weeks, yeah. And I'll lay my week's wages on it. I'm that confident. €50. €50. No, 3 private dances, my friend. Oh yes! This is going to be the piece de la resistance. It's a bucket.
Wayne might be happy,
Nothing, a bit of teacup won't solve, you know what I mean?
but what will Jock make of it all? English Mobile Mechanics gets lots of passing trade, and today a familiar face has come in, straight off the street. Kevin Kennedy, better known as Corrie's Curly Watts, has got a problem with squeaking tyres and a faulty key fob. Modern technology is all a bit much for our Curly.
I've only just managed to use the mobile phone properly. The kitchen is a mystery. Washing machine, what does that do? And the car, you get in it and you turn it on, and then you go to the beach. I've had it into Spanish people before, but it just takes forever. Yeah, I mean, you may have noticed that a lot of the cars around here have all got bits hanging off them. That's not due to wanton violence. They don't really go into that sort of thing here, but to get a part, it takes forever. So the Spanish tend not to bother.
He's been living here for 2 years. So what's the attraction of the Costa del Sol for a lad from the street?
I just really like the lifestyle. If you come to live here, you've got to remember that it is very much manana, and once you get over that, and then you can start to enjoy it. Yeah. The only thing the Spanish really do quickly is drive.
Coming up in part 4. As the weekend approaches, Jock begins the resuscitation of the Anglia.
One distributor cap, a rotor arm, set points, set ignition leads.
And the education of trainee Danielle.
Asking for a long stand and a left-handed hammer, just in case.
It's nearly the end of another grease-filled week at the garage, but there's still plenty of work to be done. The Ford Anglia Wayne brought into the garage for restoration is having the once-over from Jock. And Wayne's confidence in the car's potential has vanished.
One distributor cap, a rotor arm, set points, set ignition leads.
Jock can spot any money pit on 4 wheels. But it's not all bad. It turns out he used to do some work on the car, and it seems his history with the vehicle has inspired him.
I mean, I seen this car years ago. Still got my sticker on the back window, that's how I know. I ain't seen it for 8 years anyway. Still there, isn't it? I think I'll actually go and get a bit of T-cut just for the crack and just polish one spot on the roof or something, just to actually see if it came up. Just to see what the colour of the car was. See the whole car, shall I? I can actually see that the paintwork is actually cracked under it. That's probably, I mean, it's the original paint. Can you see it cracking? That's a shame, yeah. That'll come up. That's amazing. I wouldn't like to T-cut the whole car, so I didn't even think about it. That's Danielle's job.
With Jock won over by this little classic, the guys in the garage now have the unenviable task of turning back time for the Ford Anglia.
Get Danielle on it.
After her run-in with Jock, Danielle has thrown herself into her work.
I took off wheels for the first time, that was pretty cool. Did oil change and oil filter change on a Golf and an Escort. Yeah, that was wicked. It's a good feeling knowing that you think, it's not as hard as it looks, really.
And now the gaffer seems happy to run through some fabricated mechanics.
Asking for a long stand. You know, when we do that engine, jokes aside, we might have to get a couple of sky hooks on that, and I'll probably send her for them. And I'll ask her if she can drive the bike. She can go up to Lakinyada, the English speaking up there. A couple of sky hooks and a left-handed hammer, just in case. That's a glass hammer. She didn't believe me.
Everybody's trying to put a trick on me.
As the trainee, she'll have to get used to it. With the weekend approaching, customers arrive to pick up their cars. And there's yet another problem with Wayne's VW Golf.
When I brought it in, originally, so I got in here, all the way home, turned the radio on. No, it didn't come on. It went safe.
Safe. It's lost the code then.
Whenever work is done on a car and the battery is removed, the car radio protection code has to be unlocked. To do this, you'll require the code number for the radio.
Is the car in your name? Yeah. You just go into the Volkswagen reception, give them the papers and they'll give you the code number. Same as Ford and that, yeah.
So, unless you want a trip to the dealership, keep the personalised code safe. In the final hour of the day, the garage clears of cars. Kevin Kennedy comes in for his Jeep and the faulty key fob that only required a new battery.
I've done the battery.
Have you?
Yeah.
I thought the old one was going to go at any minute.
No, I've just done it.
Thanks very much. See ya. See yous.
After initial teething problems, the new mechanics came good.
First time I've smiled all day.
The weekend, it's Friday.
And they start their weekends on a high. Next week in the garage, Ewan's old lady pops her clogs.
Trying to look, yeah.
Wayne discovers there's life in the old girl yet.
Look at that, life.
And Jock's coming of age goes with a bang.
Oh, for sake, sit down, will you?
Watch more of Jock's antics on Discovery Broadband. Visit discoverybroadband.co.uk/thegarage and sign up now for a free trial. After the break though, it's American Chopper.